Hey, welcome back to the show, everybody. We have got with us author, prolific member of the Paranormal High Strangeness community, Paul Ieson. He's from Black Swan Radio. He just basically, he's one of the pioneers. So really looking forward to this discussion with him. He's Chris and him have connection too in the motorcycle range. That's like the biker. But they said he's got his latest book series out too, Immortals Among Us. We'll discuss that as well. First book is out. The second book we were just talking about. He's going to be out starting. I think he said January, February is when that's going to be coming out too. So we will definitely talk about that. But first off, this episode is brought to you by Radio. Go to Mixler.com, set up that account there. Follow Radio. That's ERRT Radio for our listeners. And just set up your account, and then you can follow Three Beards Podcast, Into the Outer Realms, Dimensions of the Supernatural with Maureen, and live drives with Ron there as he drives around, picking up Subway. As I said, one of these times we're going to see, hopefully not, but like I said, we'll get that exciting thing like near misses of deer and stuff like that as he's driving around out there in the countryside of Minnesota. So everybody sit back, get ready for this one. This is going to be a lot of fun. And Paul Ieson, he is next. Welcome to the Three Beards Podcast. My name's Craig, along with Austin and Chris.
Passed to a new generation of Americans born in this century.
Let me out.
I'm afraid that is white. Justice and honor in Massachusetts colony?
That had to just tickle the eardrums for anybody listening. That whole little crackling sound. And Chris is on his side. I'm not sure what the hell is going on here.
What the hell's going on, Chris?
I don't know. I'm on my side.
There you go.
Well, I know. Hey, there you are. Yeah, I noticed that during the thing. All of a sudden, he was like sitting there and he just went to the side. So, how was your vacation, sir?
It was great. I can't complain. Tennessee, Paula Deen was amazing. I'm back in real life, but I did not know the guests ride motorcycles too. But if I'd have got on the show earlier,
he's a biker.
If I'd have got on the show a little early, I would have realized that. But we'll talk after.
So that's one of those things too. Like I said, let's not keep him in the green room for too long. Let's bring up Paul Ieson. How are you, sir?
Good evening.
Hold on. You need a better intro. This is where most people may remember and know who he is.
Former host of Swamp Gas.
Dead in 5. They're the ones responsible for that song.
I had to put that in.
What's going on?
Yeah. What's up? Welcome.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Well, thank you for having me on the show. I mean, I don't come on too many shows anymore. So
it's an honor.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
He does the ARAP session. No.
No.
Oh, Brian.
And that's the end of the interview. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
There we go. Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. All of a sudden, just camera goes out. It's like, oh, that was short lived. No. So prolific author now, man. It's like you start the paranormal, show, and then all of a sudden you embrace the realm of the author. And like I said, you've got book 1 out of the Immortals Among Us, and the second one, like you said, if I remembered from what we were talking about before, January or February is when book 2 comes out.
Yeah. And I even threw Bigfoot in the
Yes, he did.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did.
So based off, for anybody, I'm going to butcher it if I try, but I mean, like I said, if anybody looks at the descriptions like on Amazon that gives kind of like the rundown of the books, that's a just based off that excerpt that I read there, that would be really interesting to see how you were able to tie in that into that realm. That'd be really cool. How you're able to cross those over. That'll be pretty cool.
Well, not to give any spoilers away, I'm not going to do that. But in the second book, the main character back in 1862 or whatever, during the war, runs into this person, this Bigfoot, not meeting to, and they become friends. And then it fast forwards into Immortal Apocalypse, which is the name of the second book. And the second book is the apocalypse, the way the immortals would have to deal with it. And the whole basis of that story is the lizard people who are running the governments of the world are going to try to get rid of the humans and take back the planet. And the immortals stop it. What the hell was Bigfoot?
I got a preview of that. That was fucking
great.
Hey, look, Stevie String's in the house.
I guarantee you nobody else has written anything like I just did.
Oh no, that's why when you said the Bigfoot, I'm like, that is a really interesting thing. I mean, because it's kind of just based off the description. It's Bigfoot meets you have the immortal side of it too, and it's just I said I'm not a huge fantasy person, but I said I'm gonna have to check these out because like I said it's one of those. I'm more sci-fi, to the side, to that side than I am. I mean, I dabbled in it with Game of Thrones, to that side, but it's like for me, it was like I'm in the Star Wars, Star Trek land is usually where I stick.
I've got the triangle ships in the second book.
Ooh.
And a little bit about how they work. I don't really get in depth. I'm more of a storyteller than I am someone who writes a 600-page novel that is so descriptive that you get bored because somebody's telling you and taking three pages to tell you how they did something.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say for people that they want to experience that too, if you go on YouTube, just type in Paul Ieson Death Ride, and there's a little short story right here, and he'll recount that one, so you can actually listen right there as he's telling that story out there too. So that's a good example for you.
Oh, that story there, that is a true story, somewhat. The kid left his house. This was where I lived before I lived here about 25 years ago. The kid left his house in a hurry. There was only one set of tracks here that had gates at the time. And for whatever reason, he's speeding. He turns around the corner, thinks he can beat the train. And of course he doesn't. And goes on from there. I only write, my short stories are only between 1,000 and 2,000 words. And I've got a short story book that's coming out in February as well.
It's this big.
20 short stories. And they're all, hopefully they're scary enough for people.
What was interesting about Death Ride for me, my grandfather used to live in Canton, Ohio when he was here, when he came to the U.S. And they lived there in a big house. And he used to rebuild old motorcycles. So he had Indians, Harleys, like real old, like the
pinhead style, the pinhead.
Yeah. And when he left to go to New York, because his whole family was going down to New York, he left his buddy in charge there to watch my bikes. I'll be back, whatever. And that guy took a ride on the bike, and he never made it across that track. He got nailed. Thought he was going to beat the train.
Not to change the subject, but real fast, I'm going to. Did Al just call me a bullshit artist in the chat?
Yep. He's calling bullshit.
Fight.
Answer your damn phone once in a while, Al.
Yeah. Here it is. This is Al.
I'm calling bullshit.
So are you independent or are you ride with a club?
I ride with friends. I'm not in a club. I want nothing to do with a club, but I love to ride. I went down, did Back of the Dragon last year.
Oh, nice. Dragon's Tail. Yeah, I got to make it down there. My buddy actually went there before he got killed last year. He made that trip, then he came back home and died 6 months later in a crash. He was doing like 180.
Well,
maybe a different Dragon Tail, because isn't that like switchback, boom, boom, boom?
No, what I'm saying is he came back home. He made it back from the Dragon's Tail, but the Dragon's Tail is like where you just go around a bunch of windy curves.
Yeah, well, sort of like it.
well, we got the two like motorcycle guys on the right of the Hollywood Squares right now, and
yeah,
what I understand, Chris, you ride like a fucking lunatic.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah. No, that's one of those things. It's not I don't ever plan on getting a bike.
Oh, dude, you're missing. You don't know what you're missing.
You're missing a hell of a good time. I hate a cage. I hate to be in a cage.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those. You look at those things like bikes. It's like you see it, you can see the freedom and stuff. But man, do I love the fact. I do feel bad when I'm going past a guy on a bike and it's just pouring rain. I'm just like, oof.
Been there, done that too many times.
Yeah, you just feel bad because you look at him and you're like, like 20 minutes ago, that guy was enjoying the high life. They were just enjoying that ride, and then all of a sudden, things just turned to hell.
It was a good idea at one point, and then
especially here in Florida, all of a sudden, it's like that rain just comes out of nowhere. It's not just like it doesn't just like slowly build. It's just like 1 minute you're there, and next minute you're basically in a Cat 5 hurricane.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I ain't never been down there on a bike, so
yeah, you should. I told you got a place to stay. So
yeah, you definitely got some friends in here. So
I'll tell you what, you buy my gas, Brian, and I'll go.
Oh shit, that sounds like a bet.
Yeah,
you ride. I'll give you $100 down there.
I'll give you $100.
Well, I'll give you $100 for a bike. Yeah, okay. You ain't making it. Seriously, it would probably be about $100 worth of gas.
Brian's stupid.
So let's. Oh no, go ahead, Chris. Although he finished there, I
said real riders will make it down here. He'll get on the scoot and ride down here.
Yeah, Stevie's thing right here. It's like I quit riding in Florida. There's too many old people, and the parents, they're driving blind. And that's pretty much it is. Down here in Florida, we have a thing. We moved down here, and I'd never seen it before. It's called a silver alert. Because you always have like amber alerts and stuff, but they have silver alert. And what they'll do is they'll have the reader board and it'll say, look at for like a 1997 Toyota Camry license plate here. It just because grandpa or grandma just went out for, to go to the store and they never came home.
Who the fuck leaving the keys? That's the problem. Like who's leaving the keys around? Don't worry, grandpa, watch my car for 5 minutes.
Nope. They take off and silver alert comes out because they're gone. So yeah. So
oh, Al just said you're not staying in my room.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Al.
Grandma riding
you're
road.
Not getting your ass down here either. So whoever gets here first gets it.
Yeah, okay.
Or you can just snuggle.
Let's go back for the people that don't know you. Let's go back. Let's go. Let's go. I was gonna say, let's go to the beginning. How did it? What brought you to the creation of the Black Swamp Radio and Swamp Gas show?
Oh, well, all right. What brought me to the creation of that? I was running a different radio show for a long time back when I was, I left Arizona and I was up in Minnesota and I had a radio station going where we played pagan music and stuff like that, and had our little commentaries and bitch sessions. And then Art Bell came out with his what do you want to call it?
Midnight
his
in the
radio
Desert.
deal. Not Midnight.
Oh,
He just booted himself. What the?
Midnight people, what the?
yeah.
Be back.
No, it's like, while we're waiting for him to reconnect. Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like my introduction really into this thing was through Art Bell too.
I'm sorry, I hit the
No, you're back. You're back.
hit the wrong button on the browser.
Al's laughing right now.
All right, Art Bell and his show. There we go. We're back.
Well, not his show. The Keith, his webmaster. You know that.
Oh yeah.
That deal that he was doing. I wanted to get. I'd been doing it for so long, and I knew Keith sort of from talking to him, but he would never let me put my show on his thing, even though everybody else and their brother had a show on there. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to change my format then. And I got into paranormal radio, and I was also playing old time radio on a separate channel. And my show was called Swamp Gas. And it was 2 hours long on a Wednesday. And that's where I met Brian and Al and Cindy and a whole sleuth of other people. And everything just went from there.
Yeah, but you on your Swamp Gas show. First of all, he was like one of the first people to actually have like a what was it called? Like a chat board with the show.
Well, yeah, I had an active chat room where you could interact, and people would ask questions while you're busy doing your show. And I think one of my favorite shows was a girl I've known for the last 20 years who's a bard, and she's a musician and a witch and all this other kind of happy stuff. That was one of my favorite shows. And then there was Butch Wenskowski. Is that how you say his name?
Wachowski.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was on my show twice. I had him on 2 separate times. That man is awesome.
Yeah.
It's too bad he's gone now.
Yeah,
And,
that was a tough loss, man.
you know, I would have Al and Brian on my shows all the damn time because you know
Paul
how guests
Sinclair,
are.
you introduced Paul Sinclair,
Yeah, I did.
who is like seriously in the top 5 of UFO paranormal researchers, in my opinion.
Yeah, the last time I went to interview him, I forgot he was over the pond. It's like,
Yeah. Oops.
yeah. Oops.
Sorry, it's 3 a.m.
Yeah, that's one of those things. I think because like you're saying, I think for me, right when you dropped off, I was telling the guys, it's like my introduction to a lot of like the high strangeness, the paranormal, and all that stuff really came from the Art Bell and just the stuff he brought on. I mean, I remember just being glued to the radio for just as he'd bring in these episodes. I mean, Mel's Hole.
Yeah.
I mean, who does not remember the Mel's Hole episodes?
I still have the recordings of that show and the other call in the show and stuff.
Oh, and it was just one of those things. It was my inspiration. Like when we were doing this thing, it's like I've told the guys, it's like it's not my place to tell you this person, this person's out there. Let the audience decide. I mean, just have a great interview. And I mean, that's one of the questions, like, especially after this, I want to ask you too, because like with Art Bell, when you had the person call in, I want to say it was the one that he claimed to be the devil.
Oh, that idiot. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and it's, and it's like those is where, as the host, you could be like, dude, you're insane. You could do these things, or you could do the Art Bell way and just like, wow. So when did you first feel that you were the devil? And you go through these things and you let the person just tell their story. And so like for you, what was your moments like that? Like, the Mel's Hole, I mean, can you think of like some shows where you were like, this person, I'm pretty sure needs to be committed, but this is an awesome show.
Hold on.
Oh yeah. There was
it's that girl. Remember the girl when you gave her the test?
Oh yeah, her.
Her.
She's the ultimate. What was her name, Brian? I cannot remember. She
I
was
can't-
your old buddy's.
Oh,
fling
he
or
was like,
something at
yeah,
one
he was
time.
flaming around with her, but Al will probably know who the girl is. I've got her now, like mermaid girl. I don't know. Remember? I
Yeah,
remember
she
mermaid.
thought she was. This is before people started identifying, really.
Yeah,
And
He said identifying.
like
she
wasn't a
said
Furby.
she was a mermaid, and she said
Yeah.
she was a witch, and she said she had been a witch for several years. So I just went to one of the places that I know of online, and asked her the background of who the gods were and the goddesses. Just something that is common that everybody could look up, and she couldn't even pass that.
He had a fucking book with her.
I mean,
Like,
so
it was like a train wreck, and you couldn't look away. It was.
I try real hard not to call bullshit, but I will call bullshit. Just like I half expect you to call bullshit, when you talk to me about some shit. So
we'll get into that.
Well,
in a
so,
little bit.
like I said, we'll get for people that don't. It's one of those things. It's like what? Yeah, because I mean, we're going to get to that one like we talked before the show. It's like on the outward on the face of it, you're like, dude, come on, really? Yeah, like there's no way. But it's one of those things. It's like, okay, once again, why be just so upfront and just like stone face? No, entertain it, listen to it. Like you said, take this stuff in.
I did
like
that
you said,
quite often.
what is the worst thing that would come from this? We're going to have one hell of a story that you're going to be telling us here after a little bit. That's what we're going to get out of this thing. I'm going to let you decide whether or not you think he's completely, he's legit. If you think this is crazy, or if you think this is the precursor because he's trying to sell a book. I mean, that's what I was saying. Let the person, like you said, but I'm looking forward. So yeah, no, trust me, we'll get to that one. But there's
the one part of the one book that I told you about that's basically between us three.
Right.
All right. That doesn't even come out during the show.
Yeah.
And because I don't get on many radio shows, I don't tell that many people, unless it's behind the scenes, I don't tell that many people about my heritage because frankly, it's not really a whole lot of people who are simply going to just think I'm fucking insane in the first place.
Yeah, no,
you know
and that's
saying.
Let's do it. We've already teased him enough. Let's go for it. Boom.
Go for it.
All right, let's do it. So
Yes, sir. Let's go for it.
all right. So here we're talking about this. This he dropped things like, that he is half, I don't even say half breed. That's just a weird way to phrase it.
That's what I call myself. Half breed.
That he's half human and half, off world. Take it from there. Like I said, this is
my grandparents came to this planet a long time ago. Let's put it that way. And their children were born on their way here. So I have, my mother and my aunt. And my mother ended up marrying a human. And thus I'm here. And they tell me nothing about it until I end up being told by someone what was actually going on. And so I confront them. And my mother then told me, if you ever talk about this again, I will deny it, but this is what's going on. The rest of that you can find out if you read my book, Twisted Life.
You're Peter Quill. Star-Lord. You're half human, half that's okay. Yeah, so Twisted. I think I've got that up here too for people to see. Like I said, I'm going to order it after the show because, like I said, I want to read this. I mean, I'm actually fascinated by the story.
It's in a frame, so it's hard to see, but there it is, right there.
So I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to show it up on screen here too.
Here we go.
For everybody to see, right there.
There you go.
And
order it right now. It can be delivered by Tuesday.
Right. So here's
the other one is right here.
Immortals Among Us.
I was hoping that they would show it up here on the bottom there, but they're not.
Yeah, I don't know if it's I don't know if the new one's not on Amazon, is it? Or is
They're
it
both on Amazon,
but
Immortals Among Us, you can now go to Google Play and the Google Books and get it.
Cool.
Brian,
Immortals Among Us is will be at the end of this year. Will be in the Toledo, Ohio library system, Lucas County library system.
There you go.
And
But don't-
both the ebook and what do you say? What? Sorry,
I was telling Brian, don't forget to ask his favorite question so we can let our fans know on how to get it done.
My favorite I got my copy for multiple reasons, but I always and there's a lot of people that like to have an autographed copy from the author. So is there a way that they can obtain one from you?
at the moment there's not. At some point I will get a shitload of books in, and then I can ship them signed to people. But at the moment I don't know when I'm going to be able to do that.
There is one possibility. It's a term like sign plates. Basically, where you take, it's like a sticker, and you just like the author, and you do your signature, and like somebody could pay like $5 like that, and then you'd send a sign plate, and then you can actually take that and you can put that in the book.
That's a great idea. That's a good way to get create revenue, because if you mail it, it's like that's a fucking genius idea.
Yeah, but right now when you get it straight from Amazon.
Al just called you a muggle.
Yeah.
Al can kiss my rosy white ass.
This is fun.
Yeah, no, it's like the sign plate. It would just, so it'd be like me ordering the book right here, like getting that,
That's a
getting the
great
Twisted Life one,
idea.
and then I'd send you via, however, PayPal, Zelle, however you send you the money, and then you would mail me a sign plate. So you would send me basically the sticker that you've autographed, you've signed.
Yeah,
And what you do is then I take that and I put that inside the book.
That is genius.
That is an idea, but I've never heard of that before. Usually people want to meet the author and have them sign.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to host the author at your house, how can they go get you to come there?
Give him he said
it's like a pampered chef party for authors.
Yeah. Who's the bike guy that just go up, Mom?
Well, one thing too is because I know the whole COVID era, really changed things for a lot of people. I know some authors, what they've done is they've adopted, like in the local, like where you're at up there in Ohio, it would be adopting a local bookstore, and that would be your home base. And then so what people could do is they could either meet you there, or they could go to, let's just, my favorite name, I always say Bob. Let's say it's Bob's Books, is where you decide to set up shop. Well, what they would do is they'd go to the website of Bob's Books. And I did this for my wife with her, Diana Gabaldon, for the Outlander series. I bought one, it was in Arizona. So I bought on their site, I ordered the book. And what they do is then they take the book, they set it aside, and then Diana would come in on certain times and she'll sign all these books. And then the bookstore ships them out.
Oh, cool.
And so what it does is two things. It would not only promote the local bookstore in your area, bring them business. People could come in and meet you if they wanted to at the same time, but it also drives revenue for both of you, both the bookstore and that such. So it helps them out. So basically, instead of like Amazon getting all the revenue, it would like directly to this bookstore.
Right. What you say is an awesome idea, except the people who own bookstores around here, dare I say it, have their heads up their ass. So
that is a problem.
Toledo sucks in general, but
what?
So go to the next town down.
So
I did what you're talking about, sorta, at a tattoo shop. It's not too far from me. I would go down there every other day or every day, and have people either order it and come in and I'd sign it, or I'd have books there and I'd sign them.
That's great,
and sell them.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm in the library system in Toledo, I can go down to the main library downtown, and with their help, I can have a book signing either inside or outside of the library, and sell books down there. So
did you get in trouble if you signed the library copy?
Probably not.
Check it out and get you to autograph it.
Well, I would, because then people wouldn't bring the book back.
I know.
Yes. What you should do is put up, do a PayPal, create a little receipt, a link, and have people contact you through Messenger and say, if you want an autographed copy, I'm going to send you a link through PayPal. It covers the cost of what, to ship. $5, boom. They come in, they order it. You get the money, you sign the sheet, and then you send it. This way they can format it like, to Al, stop wearing dresses. Best wishes. But beers and broads. Yes, that's the tattoo parlor, Al. That's not a bad idea. That's a great way to do it.
So yeah, and like I said, we're promoting stuff. Like here's I'll show this real quick just for anybody it's called a book plate. I apologize, I said the wrong thing there.
You know what? It's called stickers. Go to Staples. You get 100.
So here's an idea for like kind of what people see what I'm talking about. This is somebody at Etsy that makes these things, but it's basically what you do is you get these things, you autograph them. You like what we'd say is somebody would send you like $5 for your signature. And then you'd mail one of those out to him, and then you just take that and you stick it right in the book.
But then he's in the hole for $250 plus postage.
No, that's part of. No, it'd be $5 plus shipping. Obviously you get compensated, but it's like you can do something to where it's not.
Or you could just go to Staples and buy these stickers, label stickers that are perforated. Sign them this way. You can personalize it and then send them that sticker.
Your card probably is suspended because your overdue fees have probably quadrupled to where it's basically a mortgage payment now. So yeah, it's going to take you a while to get that out of hock.
So speaking of that, we were cleaning out my old apartment to get all our crap from New York down to Florida, and in the corner on the floor was a book.
Oh no!
This thick, from the New York City Public Library. It was taken out by me in 1978.
Oh,
ooh.
Imagine the library fees on that motherfucker.
Well, he got lucky because they burned all those paper records. They shredded all those paper records, so they probably didn't even digitize that one.
So I went back in the library and I'm like, listen, I'm not paying the fee on this sucker. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm not paying the fee on it. And I gave it to him, and the guy was like, holy shit. How many nickels that is? Yep. It's a lot.
They put it immediately in the archive. We found one.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey, did you read the book, Brian?
Yeah, I did read the book.
Okay.
A long time ago. But
at least you read the fucking book, man.
It was one of the original, growing up, there wasn't that much stuff about these cryptids, or it was so few and far in between. You'd get something, a paperback plus, right? One of those, the original paperbacks, and it'd be on that rack in the store. I don't know. Well, I'm dating myself.
You did
spin it around, and you
did, Katie.
There, it's $3.95. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you rode horse and buggy back.
Did I take horse and buggy back? No, I did not.
Yes,
you had to call the carriage around so that way they could take him down.
You know how he made his extra money when he was a kid? He walked around and cleaned up horse shit.
Yeah, there I was.
Piles of horse shit. There we go, Brian.
My God.
Is that why your partners say you're full of shit? Because you cleaned up horse shit?
Yourself, all of you.
I think I saw your picture on the most wanted list in the library.
Hell yeah.
That little old librarian, before she retired, she's like, I'm going to find that son of a bitch. I swear I'm going to get that guy and get my book back.
You and that damn dog.
Is that guy going to ever bring back the book? He got it in 19 something.
Oh, that's great stuff, though.
She retired with a broken heart. No, that was one of those. So through your history, like going back to like with your show, what would you say was probably the most believable episode that you had? Like you have somebody on and you're like, wow, this blew me away. This is, kind of like going like your version of like Art Bell moments. What was something where you're like,
Art Bell moment of, well, there was one time that Al came on the show and was talking about the satanic crap.
That
and
was
the
great.
people, the people in the basement of in the car where they kept the cars and stuff like that. And there was, and I have to say, a guy that did, I didn't know anything about what it is. Do you remember what the guy's name is?
David Berkowitz, son of Sam.
He did a Montauk project.
Ooh.
Oh, let me fast fingers here.
We're gonna go to our archivist, Craig.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry.
a good story.
Do we
Are you
need
talking about
some
Preston Nichols?
music or something? Or
Fatality.
We're talking about Preston Nichols.
Preston Nichols?
No, I can't remember what the guy's name is. I haven't talked to him in so long.
Because he was the one that wrote the book and stuff on Montauk.
Really?
Was he? Okay, because there's this other guy that was doing it. He was a filmmaker, and he did stuff on Montauk.
So this is where I need my Jamie. Christopher.
I even have the Christopher Garantano.
Garantano. Yeah.
Garantano. Yeah, that him. I didn't know nothing about this, and I had him on, and it's like my jaw's down here on the table.
Yeah, that was we did on my other show I moonlight on. We did that episode too, Montauk, and that's one of those that falls under. And I learned this term from I was watching another show, and they called it soft facts. And how they defined that term was these are things that you can't disprove and you can't prove. They're basically right in that realm of where there's not really a way to quantify it either way. And stuff like the Montauk thing, there's enough to where, why did they build all this infrastructure for this, for what would be just a normal, like a radar station? It's way too big of a complex. All these massive blast doors, all this stuff for just such a little thing. And then as you go through these things, it's like, there's so many of these soft facts. That's what makes this this location such an interesting, and it's just, and not even a stone's throw across the water is another little place called Plum Island.
Yeah.
Which is in itself is a whole nother, we're talking Dr. Moreau.
Yeah. Isn't that where they took all the plague victims or something?
I think
That's
so.
where they do all that stuff at. They do that's like a level. I forgot what the level is, level 6 or whatever. Whatever the highest level for biohazard. That's it.
Yeah. That's then one while I
stays at Plum Island. Thanks.
I'll get kind of your guys. I can bring up the picture. Have you guys seen the one that's been making the rounds? And it's a perfect example of what's going on in the community right now. It's that AI image, the one that everybody is saying is a UK trail cam photo of what people are calling a skinwalker dog man.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's AI. That's garbage.
Yeah, and you're seeing the people they're dead set. They're like, this is authentic, and I'm like, it's not. And they're like, well, how the hell do you know? I'm like, one, look at a regular trail camera picture. Every animal on the trail cameras, the round part, the iris, is going to be white. The rest of the eye isn't going to reflect anything. So that's all you're going to see is these perfect circles. Well, that image, the entire eye is that bright white. That's problem one. And anybody that's seen there's nothing to reflect in the mouth. So the mouth isn't going to be this bright, shiny white.
Right.
I'm like, those two right there are enough to say there's a problem with this photo. But you watch these people, oh my God, that is the hill they want to die on.
Well, that's the same. I was having a conversation with him earlier today about Tartaria, and where I was at, asked some questions, and him and I both agree. Like a lot of the photographs you're seeing about that, it's all AI. It's there's no Tartarian photos. There's physical structures that they're seeing below ground. That's legit, but these people on tricycles and old film style shit. It's not real. 99% of it.
Bullshit.
AI. Yeah, it's bullshit.
I don't know really too much to tell you about that. What Brian's talking about, because everything that I have ever seen is on TikTok about it. Number one, there's a red flag. Number two, you can tell that it's AI. Number three, they'll say, "Oh, this video was taken 400 years ago," and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, how was it taken?
We don't have video from 400 years ago anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
where was the camera 400 years ago? I ain't never seen
I love the ones where they like, newly discovered image back in, when the construction of the pyramids, and it shows everybody holding up the block. And I'm like, if I even see one idiot say that this is an authentic photo, I am going to lose my mind. I'm just waiting for something like, oh my God, that is so many. I was, whoa. All right, you're in crazy town now.
It's just like the video that they put out about the Euphrates River and it being dry, and that they found this, that, and the other thing. And it's like, okay, well, the cave pictures, I'll buy that. The rest of it is garbage.
There's a lot
in
of
my opinion. In my opinion,
but I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff, and that's why AI sucks. You can't. There are devices. If you run it through certain filters, through certain video programs, you can tell it's AI.
Oh, AI is a big problem. Authors or people who want to be authors are now starting to use AI to write stories. They put their idea in there, and then the computer writes a story for them, and then they fucking try to go out there and publish it. And it's like, I'm sorry, but it's like when stuff came out in the late 80s and the 90s, where everything was electronic as far as music was concerned. It's like I was totally against it, but you heard everybody else say how they loved it.
Right.
Yeah. It's
one thing to put a synthesizer in, and it's a keyboard basically. So the organ, but now what they're doing is they'll take Johnny Cash and have him singing Gin and Juice, It sounds like Johnny Cash singing Gin and Juice, but
here's the image for anybody that's not sure what we're talking about.
It looks fake as shit.
It is fake.
Yeah, and this is the part with the eyes. Like I said, anybody that sees like a trail camera thing, you're going to get that image right there. The iris part will be a round circle. Those are always that's the telltale, like an actual trail cam thing. We'll have these perfect round circles, but the rest of the eye will be black.
You know who does really good, and she's not trying to fake anybody with them, but I don't know how she does it. Our OK Nana, she does some really good AI art, like really good. If you need artwork done, talk to her.
AI, I don't know. Skinwalkers are shapeshifters.
Yeah,
from what I understand. Well, if that was a picture of a skinwalker, it'd look like a cat instead of something with human hands.
Well, and the thing too is like for skinwalkers, and this is, I'm glad you got you guys on. I was because a lot of people are even saying that this, like said, this is a skinwalker. I thought the definition for it to be a skinwalker is it had to have something to tie to the Navajo.
Well, there's two different kinds of skinwalkers. There's skinwalkers who are legit shapeshifters, and then you got the skinwalkers who are they have changed form, that they are permanently in somewhat because they did something like they were Indian and they were a shaman, but they went totally dark. And they killed a loved one so they could get the power of being able to change shape. That's the story I got from when I lived in Sedona, from Indians, from the Navajo, and
that must have been the other one was.
Yeah, and that's kind of like your take, because that's one of the things like I brought up with this thing too. It's like all these groups. It's really become prevalent to where the red circle, the red circlers, where they just circle the blurry photo, and these AI images, these are so prevalent in groups now, and it's so divisive, because there's the group of either it's nothing there or this is absolutely the best proof and thing. And this is where, when you mentioned before the show, your science background. That's one of the things like I really wish people would tackle is the difference between hypothesis, theory, just how these things come come together, because so many people, they go, well, this is irrefutable evidence. That's not how science works.
No.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
things have to be proved. I mean, it's just, if, you know, like,
They have to be proven. They have to be confirmed, which means they need to be at least 3 or 4 more times. You have to come up with the same result.
okay, you're right. We do
otherwise,
need to make Three Beards Podcast red circlers.
right. So, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
we definitely need to make that shirt.
you know, I don't call it out as much as everybody else. I'll say something to the effect, if I find it not to be official. You know, there's not enough evidence here to really come to a conclusion. But I mean, you know, with the Al, you know,
sorry, just not buying it.
he's not going to buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not buying it, or he's going to, you know,
I'm calling bullshit.
there it is.
Well, that's just what it is. It's like everybody right now, you'll see, like, in a lot of these things, they state these things as irrefutable fact. And the closest thing we have, it would be what you describe as a hypothesis. We think this is what possibly is going on. It's not a theory, because we can say we hypothesize that this might have something to, like, interdimensional. This might have teleportation. There these things, but until we can actually physically prove these things, we can't ever say that this is a fact, because we don't have it. But there's too many people that say, I'm an expert on this. You know, you don't understand. I've been out there, and you're like, you've had experiences, but like I said, scientifically, you haven't met that burden of proof yet.
Well, most people that go Bigfoot hunting are like scared of their own shadow in the first place.
Yes, they are.
Right, Al? No.
I mean, how many people think that they're being they're being stalked by a 14-foot monster, and it just happens to be a squirrel, rattling through the bush?
No, we've been in places where it's legit. It's
well, no, I'm not saying every case, but I'm saying most people, just like what Paul was saying. You go out in the woods during the daytime, it's a cool thing. Nighttime turns out you've got that little squirrel that comes running through there, and you swear, it is Freddy Krueger that's getting ready to pop out of those bushes and just shred you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nighttime comes around. I got woods behind me back here. And we'll sit out there at the fire pit, and all of a sudden you'll hear some of the animals start walking through back there. And you're going like, what the fuck was that? What was that?
Everybody's like,
well, I mean, you just hear this, and you're thinking Bigfoot's just running, like, running a marathon behind you. Yeah, it's a rabbit.
I mean, there are certain times when if you're in the woods and you're investigating and you're really on the ground, right, and you have questions, there are select people, like Al has people, and we both, we'll both ask each other. We'll call on this guy right here. Arizona's like, this is the situation. You ever come across X, Y, and Z, and you kind of can figure certain things out. But I'll tell you another thing: when you're in the real deal, the moment, like you said, the moment, and shit's happening, it, you feel it.
Well, see, Laura,
you can tell, yeah.
What Laura's saying right there, and that's the thing is this. What we were talking about, it has nothing to do with what experience you had out in the woods. It has when you make the claim that I'm an expert, this is an irrefutable fact. That's the part that we can't do, because
that's what I have a problem with too.
Yeah. And it has nothing to do with, I saw a UFO. That's, I had an experience out in the woods. You can't discount that, because one, you weren't there, you didn't do these things, but at no point does that then become an irrefutable scientific fact. I mean, I always go to the thing with like science when it comes to chemistry. If Brian came and said, I just discovered a new element, and you're like, oh wow, that's fantastic. Let's see it. And you're like, well, I can't do it again. I've never been able to do it again. It was spiritual. I was able to see it. Nobody in the scientific community is going to even go any further with this. They're going to be like, until you
too, right? That's anti-gravity, or what's the one that they created with the collider? Antimatter.
Yeah.
Antimatter,
it's a split second. It's like less than a split second.
But they were able to repeat it, and that's the key.
Well, let me tell you something. There's been plenty of times You won't believe me, but you have those experiences, and I'm not here to prove that to everybody.
Oh no, see that's the thing. See, this is where people, this is what is so difficult about it. It's like it's one of those things that has nothing to do with the individual experience. It has everything to do with, I know this is a hard fact, and that's the part that we can't do. We can't do it until we physically have a Bigfoot or a dogman in a zoo, and we can see these things. I go, that's the part that's hard. That's the part that's hard. We can have the experiences. We can put these things under like the high strangeness banners. We can do these things, but until we can actually physically, on command, repeat a scenario, that's where it bumps up against the hard science.
The whole reason I went down and rode the back of the dragon and tail of the dragon is because the buddy I was with had come right back up that month and said he saw Bigfoot down there.
Gotta tell him.
And I'm going, JD, okay, I believe you because you don't lie to me about stuff like that, but why would they be that close to a road that is heavily trafficked by motorcycles for one? So that was what got me to ride down there with them. And no, I didn't get to see Bigfoot. I wish I had.
Yeah, I know. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would have really.
Yeah.
I mean, that one sounds. I mean, I'm not disputing his evidence because I don't know him, but you're right. That would have been my first thought. Why would Bigfoot be around rumbling motorcycles? Maybe Bigfoot used to ride motorcycles in his past life. I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
well, when you got screaming Harleys going around all these curves and slowing down, speeding up, doing 40 miles an hour, and then braking real hard and scraping their pipes on the turns, it's like I don't know any animals that are going to be around that.
Maybe maybe the vibration opens the portal. If you think he's a portal, if he travels between portals,
no,
maybe
I don't buy that. I don't buy that portal shit.
I like the way you're thinking, but yeah, no.
and that's what I'll just keep stressing that for everybody. Like I said, trust me, what I'm saying is not discounting people's experiences. This is not a critique on that. It's the one. This where the start off is the people that claim to be the expert. I have irrefutable proof, and that's
like
the thing
expert ghost hunter.
It's because if you ask people, okay, I have hair samples. Okay, let's see it. Well, they took it away from me. Of course they did. That's usually where it is. Like all the samples have been destroyed. I accidentally deleted all the information. That's usually where we run into this problem. It's like when it comes into the hard evidence side, it's like we have to get these things. They're like, oh no, I get these all the time. Okay, then you should have hair samples all the time. You shouldn't, Smithsonian isn't just sitting outside your door waiting to take your next sample from the family of Bigfoot behind your house. It's like, come on.
Get mad at you.
Well, the Bigfoot came into the parlor, and I was doing his hair and the curlers, and the girl swept up all. Okay.
Yeah. So let me understand. I've never seen a Bigfoot. So do all Bigfoot have nice long hair that can get caught on branches and thorn bushes and all this kind of stuff? Because I've got white-tailed deer in the back of my property. They're back there all the time. And I never find any tufts of hair from the deer.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that is. And I mean, I'm curious too. It's one of those things because I talk about, I don't know if you ever remember, remember this, what happened in Tampa Bay, the guy that faked the penguin, the giant penguin. He had the iron boots, and he'd go out there and he would actually put these giant footprints in the sand, and everybody thought that there was this giant bird cryptid that would leave these giant footprints in the sand.
I never heard this one.
Yeah, it's a really fascinating. Everybody didn't come until he passed away, and they found him in his garage. And here's these iron boots that he had made that were these giant penguin footprints. And he would just go out there and he would just create all these prints. And I've wondered, because you see the guys like in UK that were trying to hoax the crop circles and stuff. Yeah. I've wondered who, if people have looked into, if there's people out there trying to do this, like, because you think about it, if they're willing to hoax those things, somebody's out there making Bigfoot track.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because they're going to want the clicks. They're going to want the notoriety and the attention.
There's a lot of people that are doing that, and there are people, they're making money off of it.
Mm-hmm. And that's, unfortunately, and that's kind of revolving back to like what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, especially from the time, like, you were doing your show to especially now, there are so many people in a lot of these groups and in the community that are doing it solely for the attention.
Yeah.
They want the clicks. They want
And
the
they
attention.
will
And it's like,
say anything possible to entertain people, and they'll just out and out lie about shit. And what's worse is that they will get caught in a lie, or they'll say one thing and then 5 minutes later they'll say another thing that totally goes against what they said the first time, and people continue to listen to it. I don't understand it.
And then you're the bad guy. Well,
Yep.
well, I thought you said this 10 minutes ago, but now you said, well, my recollection.
Yep.
Well, your recollection.
I'm the asshole. I'm the troll. I'm the hater because
Blocked.
I said something.
Block them. I mean, it's most sightings near a power plant. Yes, they work for the electric company, Joanne, and
Joanne, that's one of those things too. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the curious things. What do you guys attribute the way that most of these sightings seem to happen around like power plant areas? There seems to be like UFO activity. There really seems to be like cryptid activity somewhere around these power generation areas, whether it's the hadron colliders, some of these like nuclear plants. There's happens to be just this thing. And it's one, is it galactic tourism? Let's go look at these primitive creatures that are still using this power system, on the tour.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I've wondered that. Because it's like, what is it about a nuclear plant that would be so fascinating to another species from off world?
I don't know if they. I mean, I don't know if they Bigfoot and that hang out by the nuclear plants, but they definitely travel through a lot of the electric corridors, the overhead, high wire, high intense lines, because it's easy. No one's going there. No one's going to be there. And they may draw some energy from it, because I do think after our experience, I think they use it to convert their physical flesh into an interdimensional, entity and travel interdimensional.
That has nothing to do with it whatsoever.
Well, it ain't for them plugging in with Marshall amps, right?
What commercial? It has
back down
to do with they can suck the energy right out of the sky right there at the power line because it's that intense, and they can recharge their stuff, their ships. So if they're low on power, otherwise, why are they going by a nuclear power plant? I don't know, to check up on it and see if they've made any improvements to it, so they know how to shut it off if they have to shut it off.
Yeah, because I was going to say, would you give validity to that theory that when we detonated, Fat Man and Little Boy, when we did that first test, that was a universal, alarm system that went off, like, oh God,
big red flag. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
Yeah.
These creatures just split the atom.
Well, this planet was reseeded after the polar shift by the Anunnaki, and they're not going to allow humans to just destroy it.
Too valuable? The planet? The resources? Is it too valuable?
You've got so many thousands of different species here from other worlds, where they originated from other worlds, and they live here. And they're intelligent, but people can't understand that they're intelligent because they're not going to sit there and smoke a ball with you and talk shit. They're going to do what they do.
I swear octopus are one of those.
Octopus are fucking totally not from this planet.
Yeah, I swear that those are we're watching a real life alien, swimming around in the ocean right there with those things.
They're definitely doing that.
Because you have the mimic octopus. For anybody that does watch that, those things are those are incredible.
They are awesome. To answer Brian, for what the other thing, I'm sorry, sometimes I have a difficult. I had a stroke at one point. I had a triple bypass just over a year ago, so my memory doesn't work all at once sometimes. And he was talking about how these UFOs can stay in the same space and stuff like that, right? That's what you were saying?
No, I mean, what I was saying was because of our experience, it went from point A to point B 2 miles down at the other end of the lake. The only way you can do that is if you open a portal, go in it, and come back.
No, it's not. They are within our space, but they don't hold the same space.
Okay.
You can see them, but they're not occupying the same space as we are.
So it's
they
almost
use
like
it
to solve over the space.
That's a new one. I've never heard that one.
Space for them is just basically the way the ships work. You think where you want to go, and you go that quick.
That's kind
the
of
ship
cool.
is just so they can contain you inside without you going poof when you go out into space.
Gotcha.
So is that kind of like the quantum entanglement thing, to where it's just where they talk about like when one thing is affected here, it's affected, on the clear other side of the universe, and to where they think that's how some of this travels happens, instantaneous. It's one you can go from here to there and just like boom, you're there.
Yeah, you don't even fold space. You just go.
Right. That'd be great after you go to like the cantina and you're drinking for like 9 hours. You're like, fuck.
well, think about it this way. Here's another way that you can think about it. It's like this. All right, you've got the space in between spaces. Okay, you got your atoms here and your atoms here, and you've got the space in between. That's what they're occupying, is that space in between. Remember when I used to talk to you about the moment, Brian?
Yeah.
That is the moment. It's the space between spaces. It's a whole nother universe. You enter that space and you come out where you want.
Yeah, we've had you actually referenced that when we had a moment when everything just changed and you were like, what the heck's going on? I think it was when after the UFO sighting, we were coming back to the next ground. We were going to go call Cindy, and then
it was your first show on my show.
These people, we heard like a family walking in the woods at 12 midnight. It's like, oh, let's go for a pleasure walk.
But all of a sudden everything went dead silent for you.
Yep.
And you couldn't. There was no birds. There was nothing.
There's nothing.
There was no air movement. There was absolutely nothing. And you stepped into. Well, another name for it is the netherworld. The moment, the space between space, I can't think of what else you would call it at the time.
So what's the difference between the moment? Yeah, go ahead.
That is the netherworld.
Right.
That's the netherworld, the space between space.
So what's the difference between the netherworlds and shadow?
Shadow. These people don't even know what shadow is. Why don't you tell them what shadow is?
No. Go ahead. Because it's just another place. And
shadow is part of Dreamtime. That's the difference.
Okay.
That's the easiest way I could put it so people could understand.
So one night,
if you want to learn more about shadow, read my book, Immortals Among Us.
Yeah. And
there you go.
Trust me, you're going to want to read Twisted Life, Immortals Among Us, and I got a preview of the next one coming out. It's fantastic. But there was one night I was in shadow, and somebody over here, just above me, is yelling at me, "When I tell you to push the button, you push the button." I'm like, "Okay, I got it. Tell you to push the fucking button, I'm like, "I got it.
And then he
I was like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, "Thanks for reading the dream last night." Yeah, I waited for you to call.
But you gotta. Some people think this is a physical reality. This isn't a physical reality. This is a dream, just like everything else. You just perceive it as a physical reality. But it's just as real as, I'm not talking about a dream, a light dream that you might have when you're taking a nap. I'm talking about dream time. I'm talking about, they used to call it dreamscape back in the day. Yep. Where it's a place that you can enter in the other world, where you are actually conscious of your actions, and you can manipulate the outcome of whatever you were trying to do. You're not helpless, and you're not just watching yourself do something in a dream.
And it can happen at any point in time. You can go into shadow at any point. For the most part.
For trained people, they can go in anytime they want to.
Right.
Some people confuse it with astral projection. Astral projection, is when you leave your body and you go wherever it is that you decide that you want to check out, or that your mentor has told you to go check out, or you end up in space out by Saturn. The first time I ever did that was amazing. I was in a truck with this friend of mine. We were coming down from Flagstaff, going down 89A and on the switchbacks going to Sedona. And we got Wish You Were Here going. And all of a sudden, the person who was teaching me stuff taps me on my shoulder when I'm in the car. It says, "Come with me." And I cross over and the veil and end up out by Saturn and by the moon. All this took place in probably 20 seconds. And but I can tell you that there is a base, a ship out by Saturn. That much I can tell you because I saw it.
And there's so supposedly with the moon being not real, it was towed in 27,000 years ago, right?
I didn't.
I'm not asking you. I'm saying this is what was recently. So there's a guy named Cliff High. I'm gonna try to get him on this program, but he does data mining through all this.
The moon was here 450,000 years ago when the Anunnaki were here.
Right, but it's
so how is it towed in 27,000 years ago?
He was mentioning that
see what I mean? That's what I do.
No.
She was towed in.
This is Cliff High, whatever. I'll bring him in and I'll tell you about that down the line. But he says,
I'm just busting your nuts, man.
Oh yeah,
it's fine. It's artificial, and there are people that are remote viewed. Have remote viewed on the dark side of the base. They know there are extraterrestrials there. They know when you're remote viewing. They don't like it, but that is a repeater for a base on Saturn. That's what I was going with.
Okay, whoever came, I don't know.
What about the Dogon tribe that has the legend of when the moon arrived? Because that's one of those things that's weird. That's weird about that is where you have these. There's certain tribes that have this part. In their, I don't want to say lore. It's just in their oral tradition of the time that the moon arrived, and stuff. And it's like so. Is that something we take more of like on an allegorical sense, or is this something to where like they may have that this might have actually been a legitimate event where one day you wake up and ooh, there's a big white orb in the sky. It's just that's the part I've always been curious about. It's like whether what people's thoughts are is like, does that seem to be a legitimate thing, or is this just one of those things where it's just kind of like, the Norse traditions of where thunderstorms were Thor and Odin, battling. And so I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that one?
I don't believe that the moon is anything but the moon. And I think the moon's always been there. That's my belief. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that was my big word today. Allegorical.
Allegorical.
You had allegorical. You want a truck from Craig. Go contact him.
If you had allegorical on your bingo card, you get an all-expensive date with Brian M. Bowden. See us at the end of the show for your ticket.
No, you get a Ford F-150 from Orlando Ford.
No, it's not Orlando Ford.
Whatever. I don't live up.
But that's
we'll buy Harleys, not Fords.
4041 Ford.
Now you mentioned earlier the triangle craft.
Yeah.
Do you think that is a direct copy of something that we found, or do you think that is something that the U.S. military has created based off technology that we recovered?
The triangle craft was based off of technology that we recovered, and my friend Ed, he was able to figure out how it worked and how to make his own version of this. And they use the triangle craft that they use that you saw in Phoenix Lights and so forth. Those are not interstellar craft. That's as much as I can say.
Okay, because that's one of those, like Bob Lazar. He talked about all the different craft that he saw in S4. When he went in there, and I wondered how many of those things, because you see throughout triangle shape seems to be like a common thing, whether it was during Nazi Germany, they were trying to make that shape. It seems to be like a common design that different countries have tried to develop. But I wonder, like, the different shapes, like how many of them were our copy of the technology we found, or one where this is the shape that works for us. We found this tech out of this and we've integrated it into our system.
I lived with a woman in Sedona. Actually, I rented a room from this woman who, her name was Sally. And she is an alien abductee. And you never hear the stories of alien abductees like I heard this one. I never doubted this woman for a second. She was afraid to take a shower because she didn't want to be abducted during that. She slept with every light in the house on because she was afraid. She told me the inside of the ships were diamond shaped and that they could fold in on themselves. And she told me, this is before Doctor Who was big. She told me the craft was bigger on the inside. She had never seen Doctor Who in her life to know that was part of a script for a TV show.
Wow.
So, and our ships that we have, that the governments have, are not bigger on the inside. So that's why they make them so big, where you can see a craft that's alien tech and it's the size of a house, but yet on the inside, it's actually the size of a football stadium. This is.
So do you think Doctor Who is like predictive programming? Like this?
I think Doctor Who tells a lot of things that have no other vent through science fiction to let people know. And to get people's minds real. Yes, I have one. I don't know where it is.
The sonic screwdriver is real. I knew it.
It goes.
Damn it. Oh God!
That's how they supposedly delivered information. Even Gene Roddenberry, they did something that was talking about it that he.
Star Trek. Look at Star Trek, Brian. I mean, look at Star Trek from 50 years ago or whatever it was when they started the show. And the communicators, the cell phones,
the Star Trek phone,
and so on.
Yeah, I mean, I am currently using one. That's basically like the communicator. That's the cell phone.
Yeah, no, mine's like this, but
yeah,
yeah.
I want the food replicator. I mean, we're all going to be 800 pounds, but the food replicator. I mean, who doesn't want to get home steak dinner? There it is.
How do you know that this is not your just concept of your dream because you're inside of a holodeck?
Simulation theory is
you are part of an experiment. That's the way I look at shit with me. I'm part of an experiment.
Dude, I agree with Katie Turner, who said if this is more like a nightmare than a dream. So I don't know.
Life is what you make.
This is the holodeck. Check, please. I got theater tickets.
Yeah,
I want Synthronol. That's what I want.
Well, this is one of those where it gets real cerebral for a lot of people too. It's like when everything we have is energy. There's no such thing as solid matter.
That's right.
Everything is energy. It's like right now we're walking on nothing but atoms that are floating around. They're bounced. So what you think is like this desk I'm at here, it sounds like a solid desk, but this, this is nothing but a group of atoms that are collected, that are all bound by energy. They're all doing this. And so when you talk like these, when we get to these things, this is where your mind just like, you're like, some of these interdimensional things, you can have things occupying the same exact space, because if you draw an atom, there's so much empty space between that atom. You could have multiple things occupying that same location.
Yep.
And so you literally could have like dimensional type thing. You could be a Bigfoot could be inside you right now, Brian.
That would just,
that's another T-shirt. Let's go with that.
The Bigfoot could be inside you. I like that one.
The Bigfoot is inside you.
Inside him.
No, I don't. And you can go.
Is Brian going to be bent over on this T-shirt?
No.
I mean,
God, that hurts.
And Vaseline on the back, or is just going to be?
As long as you get dinner first, that's the requirement.
Brown sauce.
Dinner and a movie, something, dancing, anything. I need the big tube of KY.
Well, see, that's Katie. That's the thing too about that whole theory. It's like we base one of the ones I really heard is that like the simulation thing is we all have a user. Tron was kind of talking that where we all have a user. Some of ours are incredibly lazy. Others, are the rage players that just completely go like rage quit. Then you have the other ones that are the meticulous, or they're like what gaming term? They're the farmer. They're the ones that just like to do repetitive things, just like they're overly involved.
RPGs.
And so the simulation theory is one. It's like when you really dig into it, you can definitely see the validity that there is a chance that we are in a simulation.
Right.
And then, so it's just a matter of like, what generation of that simulation are we Sims 1 or, where we're all kind of like, or are we further along type thing?
I mean,
I couldn't tell you.
Interesting. I was coming back and my both daughters were there, but my oldest daughter's boyfriend was in the car. My youngest goes, that plane wasn't moving because we were moving past Palm Beach International Airport. She goes, no, it was just there. And I've seen planes in this area. First time I've ever had it. They're not, it's like that glitch in the Matrix. They're not moving. They're just frozen in the air. That is,
yes, Steve, kind of like the Matrix, yeah,
right.
Where
that's not
it's
air
like,
you're breathing.
Yeah, pretty much. Once you start really getting into this realm of understanding, like the atom thing, where we're talking about all the space, you're basically that scene where Neo awakens and he sees everything goes green and all the stuff. That's where you realize that there's so many, all the empty voids, all the stuff that's there. And things that are inside of other things, you see this inner workings to where, and that's kind of what this is. This is the one where you're hit. This topic is so brutal for my ADD. I am. It's
like a squirrel.
Yeah, I am. I'm like, ooh, shiny. I'm off to another.
It's a combination of the Matrix and a video game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fatality.
Yeah, that's what it is. In video games.
Yeah, this who gets the level up. That basically it depends on if you believe in that version of the simulation theory. It depends on who has the more, the more in tuned user.
Shall we play a game?
Shall we play?
Chris? Here's a bonus question. Do you know what movie that's from?
I know
it. Chucky.
This
no.
Shall we play a game?
I don't know.
Matthew Broderick, Global Thermonuclear War.
His name was Joshua.
Oh, I can't think. I know what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name of the movie.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It was that. Yeah, no, that was one when you watch it. That was back when people were starting to really understand. Like the Commodore 64 came out, and everybody's putting their phone on there.
Yeah,
to play the game.
Bing, bing, bing. It's
yeah,
like
it's
an AOL thing.
It's God, the term is God. Maybe you guys can help me. It's the one
one of
where
names, by the
Joanne
way.
had brought it up earlier about why, like UFO aliens, why they haven't actually made direct contact yet.
They don't have
And
to.
Because
that
humans are stupid.
yeah, and I was gonna say that's the dilemma that it's that dilemma. It's the guy. It's the guy's name is part of it. It's that thing where if they did exist, why haven't they contacted us yet? It's that whole package thing. There's like this whole.
I can answer that one. All right. Bill and Nancy Burns, they had a radio show on Keith's network, and they were the first show that I ever listened to on that network. And I called them up, and Angel's on there that night. And that was the very question. And basically I said, well, if an alien were to land in the middle of my street right now, there'd be people that are going, oh, please take me, take me, take me. And then you'd have several other people with shotguns shooting at them and baseball bats. So they just don't bother.
Somebody in Alabama would be trying to eat it.
Yeah.
I had me a old Bigfoot.
Humans are too unpredictable for them to even think about it. They don't care.
And it's also a lot of these extraterrestrials are actually we're basically a giant experiment for them. They're checking on us. They tagged and bagged whatever they needed, and they keep coming back. That's why when you get to a certain point where you go through a lull of UFO sightings, or you can marry it, you get to a lull of UFO sightings. The best explanation was Tom Conway, who said, I'm like, why does it stop? And he goes, because they're done surveying. They've moved on from that grid, and now they're going down. And if you look at the pattern of where you have activities, then it drops off, and then just below is another activity, and then next to it picks up, and then it makes all the sense in the world that they're checking on their abductees. And that'll be that.
Well, they're just checking in on their patients, basically. If you look at it from a doctor standpoint, they walk in a room. Oh, okay, nurse. See you later.
Yeah, Katie's saying this or Marriott. I'm like, we've come full circle back to Paul's parents.
Yeah. We
have circled back.
Right.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what once again, Twisted Life. It's one of his books here. It's like you got to pick that up. Yeah, that's so.
I think they would enjoy Immortals. I think people would enjoy Immortals Among Us more.
Immortals Among Us is just fun.
Twisted Life is. I've had mixed reviews on Twisted Life. Immortals Among Us, I have countless good reviews over the years.
It's a really good. They're both really good, but start with the Immortals, and then you can go into Twisted Life. But Twisted Life is such a. I mean,
if you can make it past the first chapter of Twisted Life, then you'll enjoy it. I'll put it that way.
Yeah,
that's a sell. It's like we got to make it through the first chapter. Oh,
wow! I mean.
I got to be honest with you. I'm not going to, I don't try to mislead anybody. An author only wants people to read their work. There's no way I'm going to ever become a Stephen King. So I just want people to be able to read my stuff and say, okay, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You might be a Stephen King.
That's just it. It's one of those, you got to, what we talked about in the thing, it's like whether or not you believe, the story, like it's just one of those things. If it's told right, it's entertaining, and that's what you want. You want to be entertained.
It is, and if you make it through Twisted Life, you will cry at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. That's just that. It's one. I definitely got to get it. And like I said, and I'll report back to
Brian cried like a little baby when I was reading it.
No, I didn't cry one bit. I cried at some of the fucking words the grammar. But other than that, and I'm not even a grammar guy. That's why you and I both need editors. But
that's why I have an editor.
Right. I'm telling you that when you read his book, it's not like you're reading a novel all professional, and Bob said blah blah blah. You gotta read it from the perspective of sitting around campfire, shooting the shit, or at a bar, and one of your buddies is telling you a story, and that's how it's read. And all those grammar Nazis, go kiss my ass. It's a
Cat
great,
has read my work.
story.
Al in the chat has read my work.
Al has.
He says the first chapter is 2,000 pages long.
Yeah, but thanks,
No, it's
Al.
not.
We got him the coloring, book version of Twisted Life. So he's like, "What is the 6 again?" It's blue, Al. It's blue. Get the blue one. Yeah, good.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, this is one of the. I mean, just basically the talk right here. I think it would actually just be a blast, like you said, to be out at the campfire and just talk about these stories.
Oh yeah, you're sitting at the campfire and
roasting marshmallows and freaking out about the squirrels that are running behind us.
You're drinking some scotch and smoking a cigar, and I can't do either one of them anymore since my heart attack. But listening to tunes and telling stories.
They can't take away the biker loves, cigars and Jack.
Well, cigars are what made me have my heart attack, man.
Are you serious?
I was one of the idiots that inhaled them.
Oh, sorry.
Nah. You had your heart attack. It's all clogged up from, being ornery sometimes. It's all stress. Ain't from cigars, ain't from the liquor. Actually, my grandfather who had heart attacks, the doctor even said, take a little a day. It thins the blood.
Well, I plan on going up to the liquor store here this weekend and getting me some
Johnny Walker Black,
some cinnamon. Well, no,
cinnamon schnapps.
I'm gonna get me some cinnamon apple Everclear.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
We need to have you come back on the drinking show. We'll just start. Everybody drinks.
Boy, I am.
I got this amazing beer. It's orange cranberry cream. It's an IPA. It's from a local brewery. I support my local breweries. It is like a really good beer.
That's good.
It's pretty expensive.
It's not a seltzer.
No, they make their own seltzers here. So when you come,
please, God.
So you went up a level with them, and then you just tank.
Seltzer. I'll have a White Claw.
But as I say that, I'm drinking a hard cider. So it's like
the hard cider gives me the shits. I can't drink that. Man, like I like to drink. Craig knows I'll down like a 6 in like 2 hours. Hard cider, I'll have the runs and no buzz because it's too weak. I'll be like, what?
It's all about the flavors. It's not about getting hammered.
It doesn't have a flavor. I need to at least feel something. I mean, after 2. I mean, this IPA is like 6.9%. They got some that's 9% alcohol.
Swamp shits. Look at that, man.
Swamp shits. You're right.
No, but that's one of those things. Like Laura said, the thing. How cool would that be if just one of these times, eventually, we could have like a get together where everybody just, we meet up at some location. We just have like a big old, camp out. We just find some place.
I don't know about camping out.
Well, three beards burning man.
3 beards burning beards.
I've got an acre. I've got an acre and a half back here with a nice fire pit. So
it's a swamp. I did road trip.
Don't threaten me with a good time. That sounds like an invite.
We get an RV and we drive up from here and we pick up people on the way up.
We've even got a camper sitting in the back right now so that somebody has a place to sleep. Well, not now.
So, Katie, are we talking Labatt's or are we talking Molson? Which one's the big one for you?
That's just pretty damn good. I'll tell you that. I do miss Canadian beer.
Why don't we do Bud Light?
Nope.
That's a landmine, Harry.
There we go. Fuck that
shit. Bud Light's better than the Celsius.
Oh, he didn't get it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I did get it. Never mind.
Delayed reaction.
If we come up, we got to stop off and go through the Appalachian Trail and pick up moonshine because that stuff is rocking. Love my moonshine.
Now you take moonshine, throw some apple in there, some cinnamon, and you'll end up with alcohol poisoning by the end of the night.
I got 160 proof under my cabinet right now.
Of moonshine?
There it is.
160.
Molson.
160.
Yep.
I just came back from Tilly.
She's on the Molson thing. Yeah, Molson's pretty good. Like I said, yeah, that's.
I just got some liquor that is in a bottle that looks like one of the Easter Island statues.
What's the best way to hold your liquor?
Down.
By the ears, motherfucker. By the ears.
I didn't say anything.
Getting close.
For anybody that's watching, you know what I was talking. I was like, but I didn't say anything.
Going off the rails now. Yeah.
No, my favorite, honestly, my favorite beer is Jamaican Red Stripe.
I like Red Stripe.
That's my favorite one.
Jamaican Red Stripe, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it tastes like
a knockoff Heineken, but it's good.
Yeah, it's occasions like if I had a Rolling Rock. Yeah, that one I've just never been able to.
I got this right here.
Rolling Rock's pretty damn good. Oh.
That's the cover Brian did.
Oh, that's a new book.
Yeah. No, that's
the one I did.
That's the cover.
Turn around. See, my covers were designed so that it all gels. If you opened up, it's one giant poster.
Yeah, that's the cover that Brian did.
Yeah.
For
that's nice.
This book.
Yeah. Thank you. It's better. I know.
You know what really needs to come back, especially with books. I really wish the whole page images, where you would actually take the book and when you put it at an angle, you would actually see the image.
Oh, like an image.
It'd be gold. It looks gold, but if you actually shift the thing, you can actually see the picture that would be on those pages. It would be actually a page. It's really cool.
Oh, Amazon won't do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It would cost nowadays. It costs an absolute fortune to produce a book like that.
That's because when they finished doing the book, they would put other material on it to seal the pages so they wouldn't absorb water as quick as from the top.
Yeah,
one of the planes.
No,
talking about huge ones. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, okay, but
Do you like my rubber chicken, by the way?
That is fair. Does it make a sound?
No.
Oh. He wanted to know if he was going to choke it for him. He said, did it make a sound? Craig's like, does it make a sound?
Yeah, those other ones where it just makes it. I know, like the alien and everything. That's microphone things. Yeah, that's. No, I think that camping thing would just be a blast because that's one of those. I think that's one of the things that's really lost with a lot of people. It's like you don't realize just how the bonding and the cool camaraderie you get from just sitting around a campfire and just talking. I mean, I think that's why so many, like our ancestors, I think that's why, that's where so much of that oral tradition was passed down, is because it's one of those things like the experiences, Brian, Paul, those ones that you guys would have, that's when you would share them with Chris and I. It was over this campfire, and that's how those things would be passed down. Then we'd tell that story to our children. And it's just, that's how that stuff was passed down. Now, if people, you talk on the show, we all laugh, we have a great time, but most people are not going to remember the stories because you don't have that connection.
No,
because you don't have enough weed on the show.
That's what it was.
I can't. We can't do the weed.
Some of us have to take a drug test occasionally, sir. So we cannot partake of Satan's lettuce.
Just dye your hair, you'll pass.
No, they do random PPs.
Yeah, just dye your hair.
See, that's why I don't work, man. I don't have to worry about taking a piss test.
Yeah, completely random, based off that. That's one thing that somebody's got to figure out is how to do an intensity test. They've got to get this thing solved out because we talk about this all the time. Chris could get absolutely plastered Friday night, drunk, just, stumbling around, and he can go to work Monday morning, no problems. I smoke a joint on Friday night. Monday morning, I'm fired.
Fuck.
And it's like we're both completely fine to work Monday. So why is this? There's got to be a way to test that. Okay, I'm intoxicated Monday morning because of the intensity in the system. Like I just smoked on the way to work. I go, that's where, when it was legalized, when we lived in Oregon, that's where those things where it's just, they've got to figure this part out, because there's zero difference. If both people do that on a Friday night, you're both perfectly fine to work on a Monday morning. And so hopefully they get that figured out.
But then you run into the people that smoke constantly. They smoke up in the morning, smoke at lunchtime or in between, and they can't live without it, So I mean, the buck's got to stop somewhere.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
I mean, that's the same. That's the same as an alcoholic. I mean, so if you hold a job and you're alcoholic, you kind of don't drink at the job. So I mean,
I know a few people that were alcoholics that did.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few people that, Chris knows of a few that, would partake of a healthy beverage throughout the day.
Yeah.
Why do I have to know a few people?
Because you've been where we are for a lot longer than me.
Yeah. Okay.
There's always those that, that everybody knows.
On yonder window.
Yes. No, that's one of the, for people that he said, definitely get Immortals Among Us. That's one that you have to get that, check that out, and support Paul.
Yeah, I would really appreciate it. Would let me eat this holiday, And so.
for the low price. Anyway, get her. Make sure I got it right.
Struthers doing an ad for you. For just the price of a book a day, Paul can have something.
For $12.49, Paul is going to be able to eat tomorrow. If you don't buy this book now, he is not going to be able to feed. He's going to have to choose between feeding his dog or himself. Yes. And we don't want to make this man make this choice. So if you could find it in yourself right now, to go to Amazon.com, Paul Ieson, and buy Immortals Among Us. Help us feed this poor man.
And if you act now, you'll get a picture of Paul to go along with your book. So it's like he's reading it to you.
No, you should have said buy Harley parts.
I don't have a Harley.
He doesn't have a Harley.
Oh, you don't have a Harley?
I don't have a Harley. Nope. I've got a Royal Star Venture 1300.
Okay, you said switchbacks, so I know at one point in time you had a Harley, correct?
No. I've never owned a Harley. I never will.
What's the switchback?
A switchback is the turns and mountain going up and down a mountain. The switchbacks, that's...
I'm such an idiot, because I was thinking you were talking about a Harley switchback. He was like, I was riding the switchbacks, and I'm like, okay, he's riding a Harley switchback. I'm such an idiot. Maybe that's it.
Now, switchbacks, back, left,
that's
right,
all right.
left, right. Yeah.
No, I think if I was ever to own a motorcycle, I would have one of the classic,
with training wheels.
The Indian, that style.
Okay, well, if you want to buy a bike that costs as much as a fucking house these days, get an Indian.
Well, I'd want one of the classic ones, just like I said. You just with those, those ones.
The Indian, the new Scout is absolutely good.
The Indians are cheap. They're pretty gorgeous.
Scout. Not when you get up to the Big Chief.
No, I'm not talking like a 2023 one. I'm talking like one from the 1950s.
Oh, well, then you're still talking about
it. That's so Paul said, yes, I am talking a mortgage payment.
Yeah,
because the one, if I was ever to get one, I want those ones where it's a nice leather wide seat on the springs. I'd want one of those classic style. Like I said, that's what I would want to ride. I don't want with windshield and CD, CD player, DVD.
Mine
you do all this
rides itself. I steer it, but it basically rides itself.
I don't want a trike with autopilot. It's just. It's like, are you really a biker at that point? Come on.
Let me tell you something. Don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm on a trike with cruise control. It's like, are you really free?
When you're old like me, you're allowed to have a trike.
Yes. Yes, it is. Got to make exceptions.
I don't have a trike yet. I still got two wheels, and I'm gonna have two wheels for a while.
That breaking news from Derek. I just Kissinger just died.
He's just dead. That's what it is. They had Kissinger died today.
That's one of the power players. Just went down.
Oh, it looks like the Emperor of the Dark Side just took a bite. So
Yeah, for anybody that doesn't know, he was behind a lot of things that, yeah, wow. So yeah, we need that thing. Breaking news.
Yep.
Yeah, wow.
I can hit the censor button a couple of times, but it's not going to sound the same.
No, it would be one of the. It's at this point. I mean, do we say condolences or do we throw a party?
I don't believe he is worthy of any real respect, and I'll leave it at that.
I've already forgotten about him.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much the state of South America is one of his creations.
And the bullshit in China is also part of it too.
Yeah, that's wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, everybody, once again, please help Paul feed himself this holiday season.
I'm going to have to go out and sell my ass to old ladies.
Yeah. Do you want to see Paul on a street corner again? Out there, getting at the bingo parlor? No, buy his book, please.
You're gonna make me go to the old folks' homes.
I'm gonna put him up in the Evil Knievel outfit.
No, bite me there, Ryan.
I'm gonna put his head on the Evil Knievel.
Yeah, no. But Paul,
is it too early for a Kissinger joke? No, it's not, Stevie Strings.
No,
let's go.
Yeah, no, that's one of those things. If you got it, that's why I said it's like one. You don't want to talk ill of the dead, but it's the same thing too. He is one of those, right? He's right up there with me with like Woodrow Wilson and other people, right too, where the negative is way up here and the positive is way, way down there. And it's just, yeah.
Yeah, no,
so I'm
not a fan.
Yeah, no, he's one of those. He's right up there. But yeah, one of when you people say who is they, he was one of they.
Yeah.
He was one of the they.
You say the powers that be. Oh, this episode's going down.
Yeah.
We're going to be taken down.
Yes. So once again, like you said, all this distraction is just keeping us from feeding this poor man. Remember,
yes,
Amazon.com, Paul Ieson, Immortals Among Us. Start with Life as a Human is the first one, correct?
Yep.
That is the first book?
Immortals Among Us, Life as a Human.
Yes.
Okay. So that
is Twisted Life, Time Slips, Reality Shifts, and Aliens.
And let me tell you something. When you buy this book, it's a thick book. It's a lot of book, and you're going to get your bang for the buck for it.
Fairmart, hey, how are you?
This book is 200 some odd pages long. This book is probably 80 pages long.
And do you have the large print ones for Al available yet?
They are both
large font.
They're both in large font.
Large font.
You don't have to squint
the people.
And they're both you can get them as ebooks too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like I said, you can go to Google and get them.
You Scott, how are you, sir?
I'm trying to get them in the libraries, all the libraries, but we'll see. It's going to take some time.
Spaced Out Radio's on
here. Sorry.
I do know, and I do understand. I can get it that some people they can't afford to fucking spend $10 on a book.
Oh my God,
that's how bad things are.
That is Dave Scott in the house.
Yes, welcome, sir.
Yes, we got to get you on, Dave. Dave, we want you on the Three Beards. You got to come in.
Well, that's what for the people that can't afford the $10. I said if you have an e-reader, if you have a thing, download the Kindle version. It's $2.99.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can afford $2.99. That's a couple.
And if I'm not mistaken, you actually get a better cut from that than the actual paperback version.
Not true.
Not true. So
not true.
If you want,
because I have a publisher, so
yes.
I don't get a better cut. I get 60% from my publisher.
Okay, so get the evening if you can't afford the $12.49, but if you can't afford the $12.49, get that one. He gets more money out of that one. So, like I said, remember, we're all about feeding Paul this Christmas season. You know,
That
just
way I
like
don't come to your door and knock on it and say, "Will you please feed me?"
wearing nothing but his Immortals Among Us book.
Yeah. I'm not wearing pants right now. You don't believe me? I'll show you.
And if you buy the whole set, he'll dance like Buffalo Bill in and that's what he'll say to you. So he'll rub the lotion on your skin, otherwise you get
He gets. Hey, Dave, we appreciate that you just subscribed. Thank you very much. Really appreciate
Thank you, Dave, for
but yeah,
your
definitely.
Hey, Dave.
Sorry, that's an open invitation for you to come on.
Dave, do you realize they're spaced out, dude? Where'd he go?
He's a,
Oh, he's still there? Okay.
Mhm.
yeah, Dave's still there.
This is Arizona Tramp, dude. Swamp gas.
Swamp gas. Here, I'll give you a hint. There, swamp gas.
yeah. So this,
Black
yeah, this is one of
swamp
those things.
gas.
If we can do it, like I said, that's one of those things. If it comes around to the time we can figure this out, you know, I know we talk about this thing, but man, with us both working at the same location, it's so hard to get the same time off. It's one of those. If we can ever figure this out, you know, I would love to take you up on that offer and come up there and just, even if all of us can't have the cigar or something like that, I'll sit there and I'll have the glass of water with you. And
time to figure it out, because right now,
Hey,
you know, it's 20 degrees outside.
Yeah. You got to do it when it's warmer. But
Now,
So
that's my
spring,
type.
summer, fall.
That's my type of weather. That's my
rock,
type of
paper,
weather.
scissor. Who's going to say that they were abducted by aliens? That's it. One calls, takes off the time. The other one says, "Dude, I was driving down 95. Fucking aliens, man. They returned me naked."
We forgot Kat. She was my news girl
yeah, she was like, they had a great news girl
on Swamp Gas. She was my news girl. That's where she got her start, by the way.
Yes, she
was
did.
my news girl.
That's awesome. Do you miss it? Do you miss doing the shows?
Sometimes, and then I remember all the drama between people. So
Yes.
that's as far as I'll take it without pissing somebody off.
No, I understand. It's the thing. It's just going back there. It's amazing just how things, you know. It seems like it should just be just easy. Just come and talk, and then everybody. It's like, man, things just kind of blow up out of nowhere.
Been better if we had the StreamYard thing back in the day. It would have been a lot better. We could have done this. Yeah, if you had StreamYard with all the guests, it would have been amazing. He would have just went. He would have risen to the top.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
But then there was that thing that happened between your friend up there in New York, not Al, the other one. You know who I'm talking about.
Well, that was
and Angel and all that kind of stuff, and that's what started all that crap. So
yeah.
And then
wait until I send you my holiday card.
Heather Wade, she's caused me problems, and
yeah,
I used to have Heather on my radio show or on my station.
Yeah,
but anyway,
now where's the play? Do you still have everything archived, like your shows for people to go watch, or is that
you found my YouTube channel, didn't you?
Like, I know I looked at, because I put in like the Black Swamp Radio, but it only had one video.
That's for Black Swamp Radio. That's what came up. You got to look under Wise Frog.
The Wise Frog one? Yeah, right there.
That's
right
got a lot of my archive shows. I don't know what happened to most of them. Some of them are still on this computer sitting down here on the floor.
Yeah, it's got 123 here. I'll show it here for people to.
Yeah.
I've on the Wise Frog one, I have 4 or 5 of my audio.
Fair.
This is like 10 years old, that fucking video right there, that intro.
I was like, where's the music coming from? It's because it was automatically playing.
Yeah,
it's like, I couldn't figure out where the music was coming from. Yeah, I just subscribed for you there too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you've got some audio versions of my short stories that you can listen to on this channel here.
There's one there's the Immortals Among Us little thing, 33-second one. But here's that Death Ride one I was talking about.
There's Death Ride and the Secor Hotel and
House by the Tracks.
House by the Tracks. Some of the stories that I read are real. They actually happened. Like House by the Tracks, the guy ended up cutting his head off with a chainsaw.
Oof.
Yep.
Seriously, how the hell do you cut your head off with a chainsaw?
Well, you just
all the way out.
You beat me to it. I'm just like, how do you just like lay there and just like, like have it lifted with a, like a pulley thing and then just let it go? I mean, it's like, how do you even do that?
It's beyond me.
That's like the Clinton hit list where you shoot yourself twice in the head, and commit suicide.
His wife died. The guy's
this
wife
happen?
died. The guy's wife died, and then he killed his. You got to read the story, but he ends up killing his family, and then he kills himself. But you got to read the story.
It's a love story.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's just that's amazing. It's like how you.
I meant to tell you that, Craig. I did some research on that. They have a trigger called a combine trigger. When you pull it once, it fires, and then when you release it, it fires. So somebody shooting yourself twice is
in the back of the head.
I mean, if you hold the gun back here, boom, and now you release the trigger, boom, it fires again. So I mean, it's not super unbelievable.
Except for the fact that it's not up close, point blank shot.
I mean, if it's
yeah. See, we have a whole other show on that one.
Yeah, I would think so.
Join us for our 48-hour mystery series.
Yes, that's a whole nother topic.
Speaking of shooting, I was talking to Craig today. I'm sitting at the Wawa on 441, and I see a monk in his trunk, and he pulls out an AR.
You see what? Huh?
There was a Buddhist monk. He went to his car, opened the trunk, was fumbling around with something, and he pulling out an AR and puts it to the side so he can get something out of the rest of it.
Only in Florida.
A Buddhist monk. He wasn't a monk if he was pulling out.
Buddhist monk strapped.
He had an AR in his car.
You should have took a picture of it.
A Buddhist.
I know those. They know kung fu. I don't. I stepped in kung fu once,
I don't know. I think when you see something like a Buddhist monk pulling rearranging an AR, probably is not the best time for a paparazzi moment.
I mean, if you're far away, I mean, I zoom in on certain shit.
I wasn't that far away.
Yeah.
You could have hit me with some incense.
All right. Well, Paul, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes,
sir.
Thank you.
Well, it was fun.
Well, good. That's the thing. That's if I can walk away and everybody had a good time. That's we've done our job. And that's
we've done our job.
Yeah, but once again, please, everybody, Amazon.com. Feed this man this holiday season. Make this a magical holiday.
Please, I'm so hungry.
So tired of begging at the bingo parlor.
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. On Facebook, man, they've got all these author groups, and they're filled with nothing but spammers.
Yep.
So you're basically trying to sell your book to other authors and spammers.
Debbie, just rewind. Trust me.
Yep.
It's available.
Debbie made it. Yeah, you'll enjoy this one. But yeah, definitely.
Good one.
Hey, Debbie.
This will be just as good as in replay as it was live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We respond to comments and stuff that people make during the replays. So it's not. So yeah, don't hesitate to make comments. Like I said, we'll still chime in. So, but yeah, definitely. Thanks again. Like I said, go to Amazon.com, Paul Ieson as well, and we'll keep working on them. Maybe we'll get that book plate thing going here too, where we can get that signature from him too on a book.
Yeah,
I think I'll just go buy some stickers.
There you go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send him the thing. It's like if you're expecting, it'll be Hello Kitty from the Dollar Tree. It'll just be some like random sticker pack. You'll sign it and send it. That might be your thing. Where everybody does like these fancy ones. Yours is just going to be those random sticker packs where you don't know if it's going to be a frog, it's going to be a spaceship, it'll be Hello Kitty. It's just be whatever sticker you grab.
Kitty's a frog, and I got a plant.
It'll be like a bank.
Some porn.
Yeah. I think I know where he got that sticker pack from.
Magic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. Well, everybody, thank you again for watching. Please,
yes.
Sebek, we have man, he's been on here several times. He'll be back next week. Joey Medea is going to be with us next week. So I said that'll be we'll be talking to him, catching up with him. It's been a while since we've had him on. I think the last time was when I was off the show, and Chris and Austin were doing. I think that was the last time Joey was on the show. So it's been a little while. I think probably a year and a half or so.
Never met Joey.
But yeah. So all right. Well, we've got homework cut out for us and doing some little reading, so that way we can get back to Paul about what the stories are like. So I definitely Twisted Life. I go because I want to learn more about why his parents will not tell him his heritage.
Well,
so it's like that is that book, right? The answer.
that is that book. Yeah, that's.
All right.
Oh my God.
You want to know a question why I never really cared? Honestly, I never really cared. You know, you got to understand my mother, and she's a real piece of work. There's a word for her. It starts with a C.
Oh,
So seriously, I haven't talked to her in 25 years.
Oh,
Because of
wow.
so
now she was the off-world, right? Your mom.
She's off.
Okay, it was your dad that was
My grandparent. My dad was human. He was Italian and Scottish of all things.
So man, even spacefarers are going for the Mediterranean dudes. It's like, man, us guys, and like I said, us other guys just can't catch a break. It's always those European guys just picking up all the chicks.
Well, it has to do with the thing, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's all about the language, isn't it? They start speaking the flowing European dialects, and all of a sudden the spacefaring ladies swoon. It's like, we just can't catch a break. Captain Kirk's of the U.S., right? The U.S. of the world, right there. Just they're all residing in Europe. They're getting all the alien chicks.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. Well, thanks, you guys, everybody.
All right.
Appreciate it, and we will see everybody. Like I said, make sure everybody goes to ERT Radio, ERRT Radio, Mixler.com. Set up your account there. It takes just less than 2 minutes to do all that. It's free, and then you can just follow ERT Radio as well, and then just listen to replays of ours, which we're rebroadcast every Wednesday at 11 p.m. So, thanks again, MA thank you for the stars. Appreciate everybody's subscriptions. Everybody that just like, share, and subscribe. That it doesn't save the money for Paul. Buy his book, and just like, share, and subscribe to us right now. Get us to that 1,000. That's once we can get to that part, that's that's going to really help.
Definitely.
So just definitely everybody do that. And so I said just once, thanks again, everybody, for watching. Susie, I said great interview. She really, really enjoyed it. Thank you, Paul. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Definitely. Marv.
Ribbit.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. Appreciate it. And we will see everybody on the next one.
All right.
All right. Good night.